Hi, welcome back, my dear student. So we have created our assets folder and we have put Bootstrap in there. All right. It would be also useful to create a custom.css file in there too, in your CSS folder, of course. But we'll do that later as we need it. All right. What I want to do is go to application. I want to go to views, and inside views, I want to create a folder, and I'm going to call this folder layouts. All right. There are a couple ways of actually doing this. What I want to do is have some type of main layout that we can use through our whole application instead of having a different set of HTML code for each individual page, right? It would be basically what I'm trying to do is make our application use one main file for every page. So that way we don't have to be copying and pasting that HTML over and over again. So in layouts, I'm going to create a file called main.php, main.php. I'm going to say save. And then I'm just going to create a empty HTML markup right here. All right. Perfect. And I did that with question, with exclamation and then tab. I'm using a plugin called Emmet that will allow me to do that with Sublime. All right, Emmet is also available, and it's spelled like this, Emmet, like that. I also have a course on that, which is, by the way, free, so you can take that and get to know Emmet a little bit. It will help you write HTML and CSS a lot faster, and in some cases even PHP. But anyway, HTML and CSS, that's what it will help you do mostly. Now, what I want to do with this main file is that I want to link, all right, our style sheets and scripts that we have. So our style sheets are in the assets folder, and then CSS, and then it would be the name of the file. But I'm going to show you a helper function that we're going to be using called base underscore URL. So I'm going to put right here in this href, I'm going to say php echo base underscore URL, and this function basically will display our base URL. All right, and for those of you that don't remember what a base URL is, it would be basically the domain name that you have. All right, so if for some reason you don't have this set in your configuration file, I believe right here, then I think CodeIgniter will try to figure it out for you. So right now, if you want to see how this looks, let's go ahead and check it out in the browser. So let's see if it works out of the box like this. So I'm gonna open a new tab right here, and I'm gonna go localhost. That's gonna be our main file. We'll have to load in this view to actually make it work. All right, but let's go ahead and actually continue this, and then we'll load it up. All right, let's continue adding it, but this will actually, like I said, put your base URL, and it's a good idea to actually do it if it doesn't do it automatically. Excuse me. Right here in your configuration, we'll do that later. All right, some developers actually also make this dynamic. It will probably put a magic constant here to detect the domain, and put a couple conditions here just to make sure that this base URL is the correct one. All right, because if you switch from application to application, this base URL is going to change. So some developers do that. All right, anyway, so this base URL will give you the domain name plus a / or a backslash here, and so we don't need to type a slash here. What we need is assets, then CSS, and then Bootstrap, like this. All right, that min.css. All right, and that's it for that. The next thing would be the script. So let me just make this a little smaller here. Script.src is a shortcut for Emmet and tab. There we go. And what we could do is, actually we already have that file, so let's just copy this right here. And assets, and instead of CSS it would be JS, and it's bootstrap.min.js is the Bootstrap. Before we do that, we also need jQuery. All right, so let's go ahead and download jQuery, which is a framework for JavaScript. we're using all frameworks in this course, which is really cool, right? So let's use jQuery. All right, this framework just makes things a lot easier to code with JavaScript. That's what frameworks do, right? Makes things a lot easier for us. And I'm gonna download the compressed version 2.14. If you have no problems with uh, if you have IE over right here, since IE is still relatively common, we use the 1X for IE Internet Explorer 8. All right, so you could use this version here if you're worried about Internet Explorer 8 or lower versions. I think anybody that's using um, lower than IE 8 right now, um, you know, it's behind a little bit. So I'm gonna use the 2.14. All right, just because this application, I want to put everything upgraded in this application. You still use this and make it work for you. That's if you're gonna put this online. I suggest you put this right now, for now, until everybody gets into the style of using a little bit more upgraded um, versions of Internet Explorer. All right, but anyway, I'm gonna download the compressed version, and let's go to our htdocs, and in here in the CI folder, assets and JS, that's where we're going to be dropping that guy in right there. So let's drop him in right there, and I'm just going to rename that file to jQuery. All right, there we go. Perfect. All right, we downloaded that. Let's go to our code editor, and here I'm gonna paste it in, and I'm gonna copy and paste that code, which I did, and I put jQuery in there. All right, excuse me. Perfect. So now that we linked our files, we're good to go, right? So on the next lecture, we're gonna continue building on this, and I'll show you how to make all this work together. Take care.